So I once had a client, actually pretty recently, that I said, if you're not able to fall asleep, I need you to stop trying. I need you to get out of bed, do something relaxing, and get back into bed when you start to feel sleepy again. And she said, I feel like that's punishment. And I realized that with a lot of people feeling like that sense of loss of control over your sleep, feeling like you can't fall asleep even though you're trying so hard, actually creates a lot of anxiety. But realizing that the things you have to do to address those are quite uncomfortable might actually create even more anxiety. So today I'm going to talk about what you can actually do that works when you have a hard time falling asleep. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Funke Afolabi-Brown. I am the founder of Restful Sleep MD and the Restful Sleep Place. If we have never met before, you definitely want to follow this show. So just hit that subscribe button. Now, part of the fundamental treatments that we offer when it comes to insomnia is what we call cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. And that is broken into so many parts. It's broken into sort of the cognitive piece where we're really talking about cognitive restructuring. And then also we talk about the behavioral strategies like stimulus control and sleep time restriction. And then we also talk about relaxation exercises and some sleep hygiene. So there's a whole host of things involved in insomnia, in treating insomnia. Today, I'm just going to focus on one piece. And I can assure you that this piece, even if you're like, you know what, I don't want to do the whole CBTI thing, it's too involving, I don't think I could do it. Just pay attention to the instructions I'm going to be giving you, or the suggestions I'm going to be giving you. It's going to really give you the best bang for your buck. It's under that umbrella term of stimulus control. And studies have shown stimulus control independently, apart from the other elements of CBTI, can actually be effective in addressing your sleep issues, your insomnia. So here's that instruction. If you notice that you're trying to sleep and it is hard for you to fall asleep, you're feeling frustrated, it feels like it's taking forever, it almost feels like it's about 20 minutes or more, get out of bed and do something calming and relaxing. When you're ready to fall asleep again, because sleep will always come back, get back into bed. Yes, it is what it is. So that's the basic. But let's even be more practical, because I get it. You're tired. You already feel things are out of control. You feel like you can't control your sleep. Now I'm saying do this extra thing, which means, especially in the winter, getting out of a very comfortable, warm and cozy bed into the cold hardwood floor to sit in a dim light and sit and wait for sleep. That sounds awful. I wouldn't want to do that myself. So, but let me start by telling you why when you're staying in bed awake and trying hard to sleep actually makes things worse. The first thing we've talked about before is that when you're in bed trying to sleep and sleep is not coming, what you're registering in your brain is that that state of wakefulness and anxiety is meant to occur in bed. And remember, one of the fundamentals I talk about when it comes to restful sleep is you want to make sure that the bed is for sleep and sleep is for the bed. So if you're in bed, you're awake, you're like trying so hard, you're tossing and turning, you're telling your brain, it's okay to stay here and be stressed out and be worried and be frustrated. And we do not want that, because that makes it even harder to fall asleep. So the bed should not be the place of anxiety. The bed should be a place of relaxation and sleep. The second piece I would say is similar, which is that you slowly start to increase the association, the strengthening of the connection between the bed and stress. So instead of bed and sleep, it becomes bed and stress. And over time, that will get you into a vicious cycle where a state of alertness, as nighttime approaches, a state of alertness starts to come upon you. And once you get into bed, the switch turns on and you start to find yourself even much more alert, because it is very gradual. Maybe you have a few nights here and there where you can't sleep. And then over time, your brain starts to feel alert. Like I have people who are brushing their teeth prior to meeting me and working with me or working with us, saying, as soon as I start to brush my teeth, my heart starts to race because I know I'm going to be awake for hours and hours on end. So that is the reason why staying in bed, trying to sleep, will strengthen the wrong association. We do not want that. So that is the why, okay? I'm not just telling you to do these things because I want to torture you, or I want you to now feel like you're getting punished because you're awake and can't sleep. But that association is one of the strongest, most powerful triggers for poor sleep. So the second thing I want to talk about is how do we then make getting out of bed easy? Okay, so you're in this state, you're trying, it is not working. You've done everything. You've done some breathing in bed, you've done some, even maybe you've heard about the fancy term progressive muscle relaxation, or you've also Googled and you heard about the cognitive shuffle. You've done all those things, mindfulness, breathing, you've listened to podcasts, you've done everything in bed, and now you are like, okay, I guess I need to try and get out of bed. I need to try to press the reset. Here are the things that will help. Number one, make it easy. Make it easy for yourself. How? Maybe have a pair of slippers right next to your bed and a nice warm and fuzzy house coat. Just put that right there. You might need it, you might not, but that takes away that feeling of, okay, I'm getting out of my, getting out from under my comforter to get into this cold, bare hardwood floor, right? Have your pair of slippers, have your night coat right there by your bed. This is not about you saying, oh, does that mean now putting it there, then I'm going to wake up? No, no, it doesn't. It just makes it easier. If you use it, that's fine. If you don't, that's excellent, right? But this way, that cognitive piece of, oh, now I have to be cold. I don't want to feel cold. You're completely eliminating it. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is really, this is something you probably want to do before these issues arise. So before you get into bed, create a cozy corner. I call it a cozy corner for a lot of my teenagers that I work with. And now I'm with a lot of the parents and the moms I work with, we also say create this really warm, fuzzy, cozy corner for yourself. It could be in your room, it could be in a different room. And what's going to be there? Just things that you enjoy. It might be a book, it might be a journal, it might be things that you would like to do when you get into that situation where you wake up. So create that cozy corner so you don't feel like, okay, now I'm awake. Where do I go? What do I do? Right? So that's the second thing. Create a cozy corner. Another thing you want to do is use dim warm lights or warm dim lights, whatever way you want to arrange it. But make sure it's not like overhead fluorescents that you're turning on. No, 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 no. You want to make sure the lights are as dim as possible. Sometimes you want to try orange light, sometimes you want to try red light, but just enough to know where you're going without waking you up fully, right? So use dim light condition. You get out of bed, you get into your sleepers, you put your coat on, you have your cozy corner, you go right there under those warm, dim light conditions. So it's still very soothing and calming. And then the fourth thing I would say is a mindset issue. Realize that you're not being punished. I think I've said this before. I'm going to say it again and again. You are not being punished for being awake. You're just pressing the reset button. Right now, your body is ready. I'm wide awake. I don't know what to do. So we'll restart it. So consider this as a reset. In fact, this is so interesting that I have some people say, you know what? I just repeat my entire bedtime routine, and I would say that plus and minus of that. I don't want you going back to brushing your teeth and taking a bath at 2 a.m., right? But there are parts of your routine that helps you to calm down. Just incorporate it as part of what you do in pressing that reset button. So these are the strategies that will help you get out of bed easier, even on a night where it's cold and you are extremely frustrated and you do not want to get out of bed. And then number three are really engage in activities that work. Okay, so people will tell you count 100 sheep. People will tell you try not to think. Like it is hard to do all of that. So here are some of my favorite activities that work. Again, I've done this by myself. I've done this with myself. I've done this with so many other people, and it has been transformative. It is not complex. It's finding what works for you that doesn't stress you out. So I'll group them into two things, into two groups or two categories: the physical things you could do, and then mindfulness or mental things you could do. So, what are physical things you can actually do when you can't fall asleep? Please don't go on a treadmill. Every time I say please don't, that means I already have someone who did and said, you know what, I'm going to tire myself out and go on a run or go on a treadmill super fast or go on a bike. No, 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 no. You do not want to do that. When I say physical activities, I mean calming physical activities. So that could be doing some gentle stretches. It could be doing some yoga. Another thing that is so powerful is breathing. So 4-7-8, the box breathing, just really things that can help you sort of calm that nervous system down by engaging your body. It could also be progressive muscle relaxation. You may have heard of that. This is when you're really sort of sitting in that area, in that corner. You could do it in your bed as well, where you're tensing and releasing different muscle groups. You start with your toes, kind of tense it, feel it, get out of your head into your body, right? And release and tense and release, work your way up to your ankles, then to your calves, to your knees, to your thighs. And usually, as you slowly work your way up, you start to see yourself really relax. So, physical activities. The other thing that you want to try would be more of the mental mindfulness activities. So, what are some of those things? There's so many. Here are a few examples. You could read a book, right? Grab a book, nothing too engaging, too exciting, right? Grab a book, read a dictionary if you want. You could do some, some sorting things out. So maybe sorting out laundry or folding laundry, maybe a scrapbook. You could get a scrapbook and work on that, right? So what you're doing is you're moving yourself from that fight flight response into a state where you can just be present in the mind in the moment, right? Another one that I love is called the cognitive shuffle. This is really an interesting phenomenon. It's hard to worry and have your mind racing while you're doing something that's involving some parts of your brain, not too much, right? So let me give you an example. You could say maybe one word like bench, right? Now you're going to find words that start with every single letter of the word bench. Okay. And you could find, maybe I'll say find 5 words, right? So maybe we'll say bench. It's a B. So B, boy, buffalo, basketball, you know, what else? Book, right? So many words. And then you go to E and you say egg, elephant, encyclopedia. So you just keep going until you run out of words. And then you go to the next letter until you run out of words. And when you start to do that, right, you see it's not too tasking, but it's engaging you enough where you're not spiraling and having that anxiety. So that's something else you could do. You could do things like, journaling. Journaling is so powerful. And that can include things like a mind dump. So if your mind is racing around certain topics, you could just write stuff down. I usually say do that as part of your bedtime routine. So there's not so much clutter that you need to do this. But if you do, you know what? Sometimes there are thoughts that you have that you thought you were done with at bedtime and they come up in the middle of the night. So write those things down. It could be your to-do list. Maybe you have a list of things that you're worried you'll forget the next morning. Put that down. It could be gratitude, right? It could be, I'm going to write about 10 things I'm thankful for, right? So again, what that is moving you from is that constant stress mode to being present. So those are definitely some stuff to do. You could do, coloring. You could do so many things, simple puzzles. So I've given you a wide array of things to do. My suggestion is the same way you create that cozy corner ahead of time, just have a few of those activities right in that cozy corner so that once you have these episodes, you can right away engage in them. And then number 4 is go back to bed when you start to feel sleepy, right? You're tired, you're irritable, you're exhausted, right? So that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for when you start to feel sleepy. How would you know that? There's some basic things. You start to notice your eyelids are heavy. You start to notice that you're not focused. You're kind of going in and out of focus, or you're nodding off. So look more for those sleepy signs. Look more for those sleepy signs. Now, don't wait. You don't have to wait till like you have all of them. It might even be that you've been awake, you've been doing that activity, and you start to find yourself relaxed. You could go back into bed, especially if it feels like it's been a while, but you're really paying attention to your body. Ideally, you want to look for those sleepy signs and then get back into bed. So, we've talked about quite a number of things. You could see getting out of bed is possible. It is literally what we do to help you combat insomnia when you're having a hard time falling back asleep. And you also can do these things if you're having a hard time falling asleep originally, right? So it doesn't mean you only can do it at the in the middle of the night. You could do it at the beginning of the night. So I want you to take a listen to this. I want you to grab what works for you and run with it, right? Don't, it doesn't have to be everything. You may just say, you know what, I'm going to create a cozy corner. Or you know what, I'm going to have the different activities ready for when I wake up. Or I'm going to get some really nice warm fuzzy slippers that will help me not to feel so, not to dread getting out of bed, right? So find what works and run with it, right? Or maybe not run, but just do it. I don't want you running in the middle of the night, right? So I hope that's been helpful. And then one last thought. I told you before, Don't think of you getting out of bed when you can't sleep as punishment. It is not. It is just pushing reset. Ultimately, the goal of this, when we're talking about treating insomnia, is being comfortable with that state of wakefulness. Being comfortable saying, okay, I'm awake. We're just going to wait till the day, till sleep comes. And you might dread it because you're scared about what is going to happen the next day. But you've had issues with sleep for a while, probably, right? So, one extra day where you have to deal with this discomfort is not going to make or break things. This is so important. Listen, I hope this has given you value. And I want you to join me on this mission and get the word out. Share this, subscribe to this channel, be notified by hitting the bell so that when new episodes come, you'll be the first to know. And then help me be a sleep evangelist by sharing this link with people in your world. Now, if you are in Pennsylvania, you're in California or New Jersey, and you're like, I need help. I need somebody to help me or, my kid with sleep issues. That's what we do at the Restful Sleep Place. And we do it well. We do it pretty well. And we help you feel seen, feel heard, and we tailor your care unique to you, unique to your family through our concierge sleep practice. So give us a call today, 215-607-8297, or come visit us online at therestfulsleepplace.com. So nice chatting with you today. Let me know what resonates. Let me know if you have any specific questions. And until next time, I hope you rest well.